What is going on, everybody? And today I'm here with an NBA talk type video, and it's going to be teams that I think should enter the rebuilding phase in the NBA. So I'm just going to be talking about, I got 5 teams that I think should either slow down their championship contention process or they should just completely blow it up and rebuild. I kind of have 2 teams that should slow it down and 3 teams that I think should just kind of blow it up regardless. If you guys do enjoy these NBA talk type videos though, let me know in the comments what you maybe want me to talk about next. I think in the next one I might talk about maybe like 5 teams that should trade for Kemba Walker that I think they should do. So yeah, just drop a like if you guys do enjoy these NBA type talk videos, and I should be double uploading today with like a Legends fantasy rebuild if you have not seen it already. So my first team, and it's going to be along with my second team, are teams that I believe should slow down their contention for an NBA title and wait a couple years. The first one is being the Toronto Raptors. Now the Raptors, I don't think they should completely blow it up. I mean, I said that they should do 3 things, and they've done one of them. I said they should fire Dwayne Casey. I've said that they should trade or try to trade Kyle Lowry and Jonas Valanciunas. And those are 3 moves that I think they could make to slow down their contention. And you might be like, why should they slow down their contention? They just won, what, 56 games, whatever. And they were just the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Yes, that is true. But you have to realize they're never going to get past LeBron with the team they have now. They won't. And the Celtics are on the rise. The Sixers are on the rise. You have to be able to contend with these teams when they're going to be at their maximum peak, at least for the Sixers, in like 3 years from now. The Celtics could be at their maximum peak in like 1 or 2 years. But I'm saying that you should maybe slow it down a little bit, because the way you're going right now, you're investing all your money or all your talent here into your backcourt of DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. One player just never shows up in the playoffs, and that's DeMar DeRozan. Just come May, he just never performs the best to his ability, or just out of the first round. And Kyle Lowry, he's getting older, he's in his 30s, and he's making $33 million for the next 2 years, and he is not a game-changing point guard. Now, you have the 13th highest payroll for the Raptors, and what I'm saying for them is not to completely blow it up. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying develop your young guys, take a step back, in which you could still contend as an 8, 7, 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. The East is still pretty weak on the bottom half of the conference, but I'm just saying, don't invest all your time right now just to lose. Because realistically, just clearly this was the best team you've had in a while, and you could even win a game against LeBron's worst team in a while. That's bad. And I'm saying if LeBron stays in the Eastern Conference, you're not going to beat him for the next 2 years. Nor with the team you have now, I don't think you can get past Boston in a 7-game series, and you most likely will have a struggle getting past Philly. So what I'm saying is, You move on from trying to trade Kyle Lowry. I don't know what realistically... Okay, I studied there for a second. I don't know what realistically you can get for him. I was saying maybe Indiana would throw their weight first, like whatever they have, like 17, 18, 20 for Kyle Lowry. Could make sense. They would get a clear upgrade at point guard, but I don't know if they want to take on that $31 million salary in 2018 and that $33 million contract in 2019. It's only 2 years. Yes, they would get an increase. We could all say Kyle Lowry's a better point guard than Darren Collison, but I don't know if they want to do that. Another trade was for Andrew Wiggins. People were kind of considering if Minnesota was clearly out on Andrew Wiggins and they could work out a 3rd team with the Jeff Teague. I don't know what they would do that. I think they should keep DeRozan. He's only making he's making $6 million less than Kyle Lowry would in 2019. He's making $27 million. But he's your franchise player right now. He was an MVP candidate for this year. Not realistically type to win it, but he was an MVP type player this year. Brought you to your 1 seed. You would not have got it without him. I say you keep him. I say you just still work around him, and he's your guy. He'll sell tickets. He'll sell jerseys. You could, and then I say you either move on from Jonas Valanciunas or Serge Ibaka. You move on from one of them. Serge Ibaka is making $20+ million the next 3 years. Jonas Valanciunas has a player option in 2019 for only $17 million. I mean, you got to make a decision on one of them. Clearly, Ibaka hasn't really worked out for his salary, at least, and Jonas Valanciunas played decently well in the sure, I guess that works, in the Cavs-Raptors series, but I think you got to move on, get a more defensive-minded center that could just clearly help you win games. And then I say you try to move them for young players or picks, something like that, and you build around OG Anunoby, or I know I butchered his last name, Anunoby or whatever it is, and Jakob Poeltl. You rebuild about those 2 guys and Pascal Siakam. You develop those guys, Fred VanVleet. You acquire assets, and you try to make your best team, not for 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018, 2018, 2019. You try to make your best team for 2021 or 21-22 when LeBron is pretty much out of the league or not playing at an elite MVP type level anymore, and you can definitely contend to get past them and have your best team possible. My next team is Portland. Now, Portland, I think, actually should rebuild a little bit less than the Raptors of what I explained, but I think it's time to move on from CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum is a great player. He's a great player. He's a top 7, 8 shooting guard. 7, could say 6 if you want to make a good argument at his position in the NBA. But right now, you have a top 10 salary cap payroll in the league. You're paying guys like Myers Leonard $11 million in 2 years. You're paying Mo Harkless $10 million next year. You're paying Evan Turner $17 million next year. You're going to be paying CJ McCollum $29 million in 2021. And you're already going to be paying Damian Lillard $31 million by then. You got to take a step back. Clearly, this Trailblazers team, as much as it's a good team on paper and they play well throughout the regular season, realistically, they're never going to get past the Warriors. That's all I have to say. The Warriors. They're probably never going to get past the Rockets, I would say. And you just got swept by the Pelicans, who just got blown out by the Warriors. So clearly, there is a large talent gap between them. So what I'm saying is, you maybe bank on the Warriors getting worse in the next 4 years. If not, you take a slight step back. Damian Lillard, who is younger than DeMar DeRozan, you build around him. He's your franchise guy. He's going nowhere. But I'm saying is, you look to maybe move McCollum. You maybe look to get him for maybe Brooklyn's pick in the draft. If it's at pick 8 or 9, you maybe look to trade maybe McCollum and something for the Brooklyn pick. You maybe call Atlanta. You maybe call, I don't know, McCollum. I'm pretty sure he went to college. Is Lehigh in Ohio? I feel like it might be. But regardless, it's not a free agency thing. But I say you take a small step back. You get a better pick in the draft, because right now they're going to be picking from, 15 to 20, around there, maybe 15 to 22. You try to get your lottery picks. You try to get into the lottery these next couple years, because clearly it's not going to work with this team you have now. Ed Davis contract's up this year. You still have 2 more, or you still have next year with Al-Farouq Aminu. You still have 2 more years of Leonard. You still have 2 more years of Evan Turner. You still have 2 more years of Mo Harkless. You move on from these guys. You have Zach Collins, who's young. You have Shabazz Napier, who showed some stuff that he can come off the bench this year. You rebuild with these guys, and then you try to get another young piece. You need defensive wing help. If Yusuf Nurkic gets, I think he's a restricted deal. If he's not, so I think he is. But say a team throws $22 million at him or $20 million at him, you do not match that. You let him walk. It's going to send you back even more. You look kind of maybe at the Wizards are kind of a good team, with Otto Porter taking up a lot of their salary cap, where it limits them to help out their front court, because clearly, like, Kelly Oubre is not too far behind Otto Porter. Otto Porter's a good player, but is he worth whatever he's making, $22 million? No, I don't think so. And they got unlucky that was the 2016 offseason, where everybody got these insane contracts, but it really hurt the Trailblazers in this offseason a lot, with the Evan Turner, the Allen Crabbe deal, the Mo Harkless deal, the Myers Leonard deal. I say you take a step back, you trade CJ McCollum, you don't match a Yusuf Nurkic deal unless he wants to come back on a reasonable price. Yes, he's a good center, but he's not a top-tier center, so I would not pay $20 million to this guy, and you just take a step back and rebuild. Not rebuild, but you know what I mean from there. So my next team here is the LA Clippers. Now, the LA Clippers kind of showed that they want to take a step back, which was so smart. I think this was one of the smartest trades in these past couple of years by a team that was kind of a low-key smart trade, was to trade Blake Griffin. Yes, your franchise player, but somebody that's going to be making $38 million in 3 years. Now, I've kind of said this in my rebuild. I think I've said it in yesterday's rebuild, or I might have seen it. You'll see it later today. I mentioned that some of these teams that they give so much money to their franchise player that it really limits them to do other stuff around the team. You look at the Wizards with John Wall. You look at the Thunder with Russell Westbrook. They're literally paying them an insane amount of money, in which they're not ready to win at all, nor do they have the talent, and it just limits them to build around them. There's only 2 guys, I think, in this league that should get more than $30 million a year, and it's LeBron James or Kevin Durant. Yes, Stephen Curry, but they gave it to him, and their team was already set. So yes, even James Harden, you have Chris Paul. I mean, he's making an insane amount of money, but there's very few guys I would give $30+ million. Actually, I would probably give it to my top 5 players. I would probably give it to, or top 6. I would say LeBron, KD, Curry, Kawhi, Harden, and Anthony Davis are the only 6 players. Probably Giannis soon. Of 7 players that I would give $30 million a year, maybe 33. See, like guys like Mike Conley, they make insane amount of money that I don't think they should. But all right, back to the Clippers. I think that was a great trade. Tobias Harris making $14 million next year. You could build around that if you don't want to take the long route in the rebuilding. You have 2 lottery picks. I don't know where it's exactly projected. I think it's like 14 and 12 or something like that. That's amazing. You're going to get 2 young players. You just got to land pretty much one of those picks, and you'll have just another franchise turnaround. You look where Donovan Mitchell was picked last year, and you could definitely have some faith. You looked at where Devin Booker was picked, 3 years ago. You can have faith in this rebuild. I say you have Lou Will, who could act as your sixth man for the next couple years, kind of how Eric Gordon is for the Rockets. And he's going to be making $8 million for the next 3 years. Well, $8 million, $8 million, $8 million, so 24. But that's still insane value, what you're getting. Avery Bradley, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing it back, but if he wants a crazy amount of money, I wouldn't give him more than the Austin Rivers money you're giving now. I probably wouldn't give him more than $12 million just because I think it'll hold you back more. And I would save that money because you do have Danilo Gallinari making $20 million plus for the next 3 years or 2 years. I say you let DeAndre Jordan walk unless you think he's your guy, but he's, 29, almost 30, if he's not already 30. I say you let him walk. If you could work out a sign and trade, I would so do that with the team and have kind of like just try to get a young player for him. If a team that maybe doesn't have the salary cap, you might take on a one-year deal. I kind of mentioned that the Raptors, if they wanted to stay competitive now, maybe trade Jonas Valanciunas and make a young piece for DeAndre Jordan, and they would have to, obviously they would have the ability to get him, and the Clippers would get something back. Because I know the Clippers said they don't want to totally rebuild, but they do want to, I don't know. You're never going to get past the Warriors anytime soon. Probably not the Rockets or half these teams in the West. So I say you build around Tobias Harris. You try to bank one of these 2 first-round picks you get here, and you go from there. You have young pieces like Montrezl Harrell, I think, played great this year. You should definitely bring him back. Austin Rivers, after next year, you got to let him walk. He's definitely going to take his $12 million player option. After he takes that, you let him walk. I mean, DeAndre Jordan could take his player option this year, but I really doubt it. I feel like he kind of wants out of LA since Griffin and CP3 are out of there. But you have Teodosic making $6 million. Yes, you're going to have Boban making $9 million next year. You're going to have Wesley Johnson making $6 million next year. You have Milos making $6 million next year. You have Tobias making 14. Austin Rivers making 12.5. DeAndre Jordan possibly coming back on 24. You're gonna have a lot of salary cap. Too, it's still LA. It's still a big market team. I say you just rebuild. I say you let DeAndre Jordan walk. You're not gonna find a trade partner for Gallinari because of his big contract, but you just draft your players now. Develop your young guys this year. Sign Tobias Harris next offseason, and then try to sign another stud that's in free agency. I don't think they're going to land a Kyrie Irving or a Klay Thompson or a Nikola Jokic, but you never know. LA, it's still LA. They're still a big market team. You try to throw all your eggs into the 2019 basket while getting maybe a top 10 pick next year if you let Avery Bradley walk, if you let DeAndre Jordan walk. You kind of take a step back next year. You try to get maybe a top 10 pick, top 12 pick once again, and then you try to land that pick, and then you try to make a play in the offseason. That's perfect for a rebuild for them. All right, so my next team here, the Charlotte Hornets, have a very, very hard, it's a scary roster, not in a good way. You have Dwight Howard making $23 million next year. You have arguably one of the worst contracts in the NBA, Nicholas Batum, who's going to be making $24 million next year, $25 million the year after, and $27 million the following year. Insane amount of money. You have Marvin Williams making $29 million combined the next 2 years. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist making $26 million combined. Cody Zeller, $13 million, $14 million, $15 million over the next 3 years. It's bad. It's pretty bad. Frank Kaminsky still on his rookie deal, it looks like. But Kemba Walker, he's a free agent next year. In my eyes, trade him. Trade him right now. You try to get young pieces. If you can land a top pick, maybe the Clippers would give you their 14th pick for him. I don't know, but you get another first-round pick in this year's draft and maybe a young piece. You move on from Kemba Walker. You're not going to be good. He's going to leave you in free agency unless he loves it there and you think he's a max deal. He's entering his 30s. I don't know if you think he's a max player. He's a great point guard. He can lead a team, but he needs a lot of help. Because clearly he could not lead this team this year. It's got decent talent, but it's just not good enough. And you have so many bad contracts. I say you try to trade Kemba Walker. I mean, honestly, if the Knicks were dumb enough, I would so trade Nicholas Batum for Joakim Noah. Yes, Joakim Noah doesn't play, but Joakim Noah's contract is $10 million cheaper and up a year early. Like, that's the one good thing about Joakim Noah's contract. Though, I mean, it's not good, but his contract ends in 2019-2020 for what, like 18 mil, while Nicholas Batum is going to be making $27 million the following year, so that's pretty bad. Dwight Howard is in his contract year. I say you let him play out, unless the team wants to take a flyer on him, but he does have a pretty big contract on him. Marvin Williams, I mean, I don't know. People might value him as a stretch four, but not for his salary. I don't know if you could take salary back in the NBA. I feel like I should know that, but I'm not sure. You got to roll with Malik Monk. You got to progress this guy. You got to hopefully bank on your first round pick this year. I say if Colin Sexton falls to you or Trae Young, you take him, and it's Kemba's replacement. If not, you take best player available. You take a Kevin Knox if he's there. You take a Miles Bridges if he's there. I doubt Michael Porter Jr. falls to you. Where are they picking? I think they're picking like 11 in the draft or something like that. You try to land one of those guys like a Wendell Carter. I would even try to land Wendell Carter. I would try to say the most potential more than NBA ready because you got a lot to do. I mean, you could definitely contend in the East as an 8 seed, but do you really want to do that? It's not really worth it. I say you fully rebuild. You trade Kemba. You maybe try to find somebody that would maybe want Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Maybe Toronto would be interested. I don't know, like a defensive player. I doubt that, actually. I don't know. Cody Zeller. Maybe Minnesota would value maybe Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. You maybe try to find a trade for Cody Zeller, who was the former number 2, number 3 overall pick. I don't think you can find a trade for Marvin Williams and Nicholas Batum. But I say you trade Kemba Walker. You completely blow up this team, whatever you can, and you rebuild from there. And the final team that I think should completely blow it up and rebuild is the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Grizzlies have a top 5 projected pick in this year's draft. And that's great. That's honestly amazing. Because right now, Marc Gasol is getting up there in age. Mike Conley's not getting any younger. You lost Zach Randolph last offseason. Chandler Parsons is on one of the worst contracts in the NBA. And you're clearly, like I've been saying for the Clippers, the Trailblazers, you're not going to get out of the Western Conference with this team. You're not going to win the NBA Finals. You're not going to contend probably with a top 4 seed in the Western Conference as long as Kawhi stays in San Antonio. If Paul George goes back to OKC, Houston, the Pelicans are on the rise. You got the Warriors. You're not going to get past the Jazz. I feel like I did mention the Jazz a lot. You have the Jazz here who are better than you. I think you should blow it up. I mean, I feel like, I know they said they weren't going to trade Marc Gasol, but the smartest trade you could have made was to trade Marc Gasol for the Brooklyn pick at the deadline if they were open to that. If they were open to that and they offered you that and you declined it, I think that is very stupid. You gave Mike Conley the most ridiculous contract in the NBA at that time. Yes, I know it was the 2016 offseason, so many teams are doing this, but he's going to be making $34 million in the 2020-21 season, which is bad. If he's your only big contract at the time, that's not bad. But you should have tried to trade Tyreke Evans for a late first-round pick this year. I mean, Tyreke Evans had a very good season. Is he going to want $18 million? Is he an $18 million player? Maybe for 1 year. I don't know for the following years. But I think it would be very stupid to give him a 4-year deal where he makes $18 million annually or $15 million annually. I mean, $15 million isn't the worst, but that means you better hope Chandler Parsons, you can get rid of his contract, or you can rebuild past Chandler Parsons' contract with Tyreke Evans still playing at a decently high level. So you have JaMychal Green, who's making $7 million, which I like. Marc Gasol, 22, 24, he's got a player option in 2019 for $25 million. If you could trade him for a first-round pick, I say you do it. I don't know what many teams would do it, but if you could trade him for a first-round pick and a young player, I would do it. I don't know if the Clippers, if DeAndre Jordan leaves, maybe they want to stay contending and they'll take him, but I feel like that's a stretch. If maybe, obviously, the Brooklyn pick values a lot here. I don't know, but I say you try to trade him for a first-round pick or a young piece, and you go on from there. I feel like a top 10 pick's maybe too high for Marc Gasol now. I doubt teams would do that, especially because he's, 33, 32. If you can get anywhere from maybe, 12 to 20, I would just take that and run with it. Saves you money. You get younger. Hopefully you can land on that piece. Maybe if you value Jonte Porter a lot. I don't know. Obviously, you're probably not going to get the 2 elite centers in Mo Bamba or DeAndre Ayton this year's draft with trading for him, but you could also draft one. So I say you maybe draft his replacement. You maybe don't have to trade him where you have to land a center. You can maybe trade him to get a wing player to pair up with maybe Dillon Brooks and like a Kevin Knox, a Miles Bridges, something like that. And I say you trade Marc Gasol. You don't bring back Tyreke Evans if he wants a lot of money. I say you let him walk. But if he wants maybe $12 million a year, yeah, bring him back for that. You're not going to be able to trade Mike Conley unless the team gets desperate for a point guard. I don't think you could trade Mike Conley to the Pacers. I don't think they would want that cap. I mean, they do have the salary cap for it, but I don't know if they would want to do that. But Mike Conley, Oladipo as a backcourt would be very scary, but I don't think anybody wants his contract. Obviously, Chandler Parsons, you got to ride out his contract for the next 2 years. I mean, it's only 2 more years. I don't think you should be contending anytime there to even get a free agent. But yeah, I say you trade Marc Gasol, you land your top 5 pick here, you try to trade it for another first. You have 2 young rookies, pair them up with JaMychal Green and guys like maybe Andrew Harrison, and you have Dillon Brooks, even Reb, Wade Selden, just young guys. Maybe one of them will have a spark in a sophomore year, and then you have Mike Conley kind of as just your guy, your loyal guy there. I don't know, but I think you should trade Marc Gasol. Yes, it's kind of what your franchise player was, and you don't want to part ways, but if you want to just be good in 3 or 4 years, you trade him now instead of him just riding out his contract there. You're never going to win, and you basically got nothing for him when you could have gotten possibly some talent for him. So yeah, that is going to be it for me. Hope you guys did enjoy. Maybe 5 teams I think should take a step back some should completely blow it up and rebuild. But yeah, if you guys have any other NBA talk videos, let me know in the comments if you want to see maybe like trade predictions, free agency predictions. Kind of like I said, I want to do top 5 teams that maybe should trade for Kemba Walker, top 5 teams that maybe should try to sign Paul George, stuff like that. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, though. Drop a like if you did enjoy it. I love you guys a lot, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace. Also, follow me on Twitter. Give a lot of NBA opinions on there.
We just want to party, just go. We just want to party.